space really flows, and sometimes when you're looking for that flow in your own decor, you want to stick with a monochromatic design. So monochromatic would mean you're using sort of one color and you're using all of the shades in that color family.
You got it exactly right. So, you know, the great thing about monochromatic is that it's a very soft, oftentimes, look because there's not a lot going on in a colorway. So you're going to choose kind of one color that you really love and you're going to run with it, and you're going to kind of look at the different hues in it. Now, if you're doing monochromatic for the first time, I would recommend looking at the color and understanding kind of the history behind the color and what that color might ensue in feeling. So sometimes we talk about colors, the things you see in a dining room are good for eating, things you see in a bedroom are good for sleeping. So my first tip is understand the mood that you want to create in your space. It is a more somber mood. Is it something maybe you want uppity and kind of more happy? So that's going to be the first thing, and we really wanted to create a soft, beautiful, inviting palette here. But as we, you know, started off the show with like spring's coming out, spring's here, and I wanted to do something soft and kind of warm and inviting, but that still spoke to kind of the weather outside and that more happy feeling that the weather is hopefully going to bring to us soon.
I think you've done it. I mean, this is just such a beautiful, calming color, but there's also something energizing about it. So why don't we start right on the ground with the carpet?
Absolutely. So carpet and walls are obviously the big things that we need to kind of think about because that's the biggest amount of space that we're starting to cover. So usually when you're looking with working with a monochromatic color concept, you want your carpet to kind of be the inspiration but not draw away from. So you can see, Trace, the rug is quite deep in color. Now it's not exactly the same colorway as the furniture, but that's okay because that gives it a grounding point. It still reads off one another well. Okay,
so we started with the carpet. We talked a little bit about mood. You want to be energized, springy.
Let's look at walls. So, you know, look at this beautiful wallpaper. Now, this is really easy, inexpensive from a big box store. It's not going to, you know, cost you a ton, and it's going to give you huge impact. So this is really important also to consider. Let's talk about using kind of mirrors in a space to help with the color. So what does that mean? You know, we talk about mirrors all the time, and sometimes we'll say, don't put a mirror over a sofa, or think about what the mirror is reflecting, because you're really then just doubling up on whatever it is that you're looking at. What's nice about using mirror or reflective surfaces, and when you're doing monochromatic, is that the way that the color looks in a reflected surface is often different from the other colors in the room. It diffuses it, it softens it, it might brighten it. So it's another way to add that color into the space without actually bringing the color into the space.
That is, good call. That makes sense. And I mean, you're making your mirrors work for you here. You've got a little bit of reflection in the boxes and in the tray. And that's lovely. Let's talk a little bit about placement when it comes to a monochromatic design. What do you need to think about?
Okay, so balance is really important here because we're working with one color, remember, but different hues in that color. So the darker hues, the darker hues in that colorway are going to be a grounding point, and the lighter obviously is going to feel a lot airier. So the same way when we talk about interior design, having a darker or like something black in a room to be able to ground it properly, this is going to be kind of your grounding point. Your eye is going to look at this and rest on that. Really important in monochromatic because otherwise your eye continually rotates around the room and you get a headache. People don't think about that. So it's something to think about. Placement, again, is key not only for the large and the darker pieces, but the ways in which, look at these beautiful tub chairs next to you, Trace.
I'm afraid to sit on them.
Oh, sit on them. They're so comfy. But that's the thing. A tub chair is like, it's a no-brainer because it's really meant to kind of sit back in. It's nice, it's enveloping. But what's nice about these is that it has a contrasting fabric. So the interior fabric is kind of that colorway that we're working with. And then the wraparound fabric is textured, but also it's a little bit lighter. So it gives depth to that chair that otherwise would not be there.
Very nice. This piece as well is a standout.
Isn't this gorgeous?
This is beautiful.
So, you know, because we're working kind of with these aqua colors and these blues, much like what we saw with Mark Anthony's place and really looking to play to that water that we saw on the outside, this is really nice and has that organic feel to it. And what I like about this is it's not only has that kind of veining in it, but the fact that it's glass and it has that little bit of a reflective property to it. When we talk about reflective properties, it doesn't have to be a chrome or a metal. It can definitely be glass as well.
Lovely.
Right?
Okay, I love all of it. You're saying you don't have to rule out any hue.
No.
Keep it all in there.
Yeah, so the thing is that a lot of people will say, well, you know what, I like yellow, but within the yellow family, there's some, I don't want to go out that screaming yellow. Don't rule it out right away.
Okay.
Play with it, try, because you might be surprised how one hue that you wouldn't normally use just in a regular color concept might balance something in a monochromatic.
Yes.
So that's really important to be open to the fact that you're going to try all the hues, don't rule anything out.
Well, I like the fact that you've included them all, because I think that if you had gone all with that, it would have been too much.
You got it.
If you go all with the light, it's a little bit too much.
All about the balance.
Mix it all up. Where did everything come from?
Yeah, everything is from Barrymore, so thank you to Barrymore for everything.
Yeah, very nice. Gorgeous.